I'd like you to all grab a pen that you have and a piece of paper. And I'd like you to, as quickly as you can, write your name 3 times. As quickly as you can, write your name 3 times. Now what I'd like you to do is switch hands with the pen. And as quickly as you can, write your name 3 times. It's going a bit slower, eh? You're finished already? Wow. Did you sign your name X? I'd like to ask you, what are you experiencing the second time? What's running through your head? How are you feeling right now while you're doing this? You're feeling frustrated. Beautiful. What else? Awkward. Great. What else? Uncomfortable. Imagine I asked you, when you get back to the office tomorrow, to write with the other hand for the entire day. How are you feeling now? What's running through your head? It's a day off. What else? What's running through your mind? How are you feeling? I won't get a lot done. And I'll be going slow. Not a lot done. What else? I'm feeling stressed. Great. What else? Thank goodness for the computer. I've hated it all these years, but it's become my good friend today. I would be inefficient, absolutely. And we all are concerned about productivity, in our organizations. Got to keep the production up. Let's imagine I asked you to write for the first week back at work tomorrow with the other hand. What's running through your mind now? How are you feeling? This guy is crazy. They've got these crazy consultants. Okay, great. What else? Okay. Imagine I asked you to make a commitment today, when you leave this afternoon through those doors, to write with the other hand for the rest of your life. What's going through your head now? I'd get better over time, absolutely. What else? I'd practice. Why? What's in it for me? I had a woman a couple of weeks ago who just plain said, no. She was American. You Americans are so bold. No. The Canadians would go, oh, we'll do it. And they get back to the office. Skip that. So your question, why? Well, I have a friend who's a professional speaker. And at the age of 40, he decided he wanted to learn to dive off a 1-meter board. Now, it looks a lot worse than it really is. I mean, the board's only 1 meter above the water, but he's 6 foot tall, so his eye is 2 meters above the board. And when you look over into the pool, you don't see the surface of the water. You see the bottom of the pool 5 meters below. 8 meters from his eye to the bottom of the pool. He's just terrified. In fact, frozen with fear for such a period that this long line of little kids have formed behind him. And their attitude is sort of, come on, mister, just jump. Do it. We don't have all day. And he turns to his instructor on the side of the pool and he asks her, when does the fear go away? Her answer, never. Never. Why? Well, you see, once he gets comfortable just jumping off that 1 meter board, she pushes him back into his uncomfort zone and gets him to dive. And once he masters a forward dive, she gets him to do an inward dive. And once he masters an inward, a forward flip. Then a 1.5, an inward flip. And once he masters every dive on the 1 meter, where does she send him? The 3 meter. You see, by definition, if I am always learning and growing, if my organization is always providing new value to my customer in the form of new products, new services, changing our structure, when will the fear go away? Never. You see, I'm asking you to become comfortable being uncomfortable. If you can be comfortable with the discomfort that new learning brings, you'll never have to worry about your job security ever again, because you'll carry it with you. And you see, I'm asking you metaphorically to write with the other hand for the rest of your life. You see, in fact, we are, in fact, all just children. Job security in the past used to be defined as a large company, stable industry, monopoly. But IBM has laid off 200,000 people out of 400,000 over the last 6 years. Its most profitable year was 1989 up to that date, which is when the layoffs began. Not even a high-tech industry is secure. Information Week shows that 50% of the companies that were the top companies 5 years ago in IT no longer exist. They were swallowed, they went out of business, they were merged. You see, everything changes. Heraclitus, 3,000 years ago, said that, Greek philosopher. Change is the only constant. You see, and this affects my personal life as well. I don't have any kids, but I have an active imagination. And I imagine I have this little 9-month-old daughter. And man, this kid just makes my heart melt. It is so wonderful to watch her. And she takes her first tentative step. She wobbles and falls over. What would I be feeling as a parent? For those of you who've gone through it, share with me. What did you experience? What did you think? What did you feel when you watched your son or daughter take their first step? Excited. What else? Concerned. Hope she didn't hurt herself. What else? Proud. Honey, get the video camera. Call Granny. Oh, you walked. Oh, that was so good. One parent recently said privileged. Wow. Privileged to have watched her fall. Wow. What should I do as a parent, Praise her, support her. What should I not do? I have seen many first steps in my time. That was the worst first step. I mean, even your brother who's brain dead did a better first step than that. If it takes the child 2,000 scraped knees to learn the delicate art of balance, were those scraped knees failures or were they the necessary purchase price of balance? Progress or failure? Progress. Now let's frame it as an adult. My new product doesn't launch perfectly. The new IT system doesn't install perfectly. The new service doesn't go flawlessly. How do I see it? Failure. You see, the assumption is that we should be able to get it right. If we are going to somewhere where nobody else has been before, if we are creating new products, new services where none have existed, show me the roadmap on how to get there. Give me the manual to read. It can't exist. See, 80% of the technology we are going to use in our day-to-day lives in just 10 years hasn't been invented yet. So how can I take a course today that's going to prepare me for the future? I can't. Unless in the course I learn how to learn. Unless I think about the way I think. Unless I become self-reflective, self-correcting. In other words, being able to stand back from the pattern and recognize that I'm the designer and stand back and say, where are we off course here? How do we change, correct? Unless I become more innovative and a better team player. You see, not even knowledge is enough. If you have your PhD, you know a lot about old stuff. I love saying that in academic settings. You see, knowledge, Alvin Toffler's third wave, has given way to the fourth wave, what I call the fourth wave, which is a learning-based economy as opposed to a knowledge-based economy. Knowledge has a half-life. Consider it a half-life in the IT industry of 3 years. Whatever you knew 3 years ago, 50% of it is no longer valid. Are you a continuous learner? We won't earn a living in the future, we'll learn a living. You won't earn a living, you'll learn it. How do we move to that? And I believe that this has equal relevance in my personal life. This 9-month-old daughter of mine has grown to be 2. And let me tell you, this kid makes my heart melt. Doesn't matter how rough a day I've had. I mean, when I come home, she runs up to me, she calls me daddy, she throws her arms around my legs. I mean, when I go away on these trips, she will slip a little crumpled photograph of herself into my luggage. This comes from a parent who travels a lot, and her son actually did this. Blew me away, little kid. Wow, it's beautiful. And I've had to learn how to be a father because I've never been a father. You know, you have to get down and play with her on her level and have good quality time for her. However, I can't focus on what she says constantly. I go mad from the incessant chatter. So I've had to learn what the balance is. I see some people relate to that, you know? And I've had to learn that you can't negotiate with a 2-year-old. She'll run your life. So you have to be firm. And I've just perfected this relationship. And it's just magical. I call her my little princess. And I don't change, and she's now 4. And I treat her exactly the way I treated her when she was 2. How's it going now? Better or worse? Worse? Better. Share your experience. Okay, well, let's take that philosophy. She's now 10, and I treat her exactly the way I treated her when she was 2. Is it going? So it's getting worse. But, you know, I was rewarded back then. It worked well, and I have to change? She's now 16, and I treat her the way I treated her when she was 10. How's it going now? I'm in trouble. You know, but I'm having a really challenging time because I've read those national surveys that show kids are having sex today at 13 and 14. Not my little princess. You know, and she's not exactly having a fun time of it because she's wanting to start to date and her dad has gone weird on her. You know, we are both moving into the future uncertain of how to change this relationship. I am writing with the other hand at every stage. And no sooner do I get the relationship right than a year or 2 passes and I have to change it again. See, it's so frustrating. But that is what life is all about. Anybody have kids who play video games, you know, 12, 13? I'd like you to yell out, what are the kids like when they get a new video game? How would you describe them? Excited. Excited. Obsessed. Great. What else? How do kids learn? Have you heard of any good courses lately? Sega Genesis for advanced users? Or have you bought that best-selling book, Sega for Dummies? Someone came up to me after one seminar and said, you mentioned those dummies books. I just want to let you know they are way too far advanced. I want computers for real bloody idiots. That's what I want. So how do kids learn then? Experientially. How else? You know, they just trial and error. If they do it through trial and error and experientially, how many times are they willing to get it wrong before they get it right? Whatever it takes. Let me ask you this. Once the kids master the video game, all 6 levels of it, what do they do with it? They ignore it. They throw it away. Here's the second aspect of the learning paradox. Not only is our security based on learning, changing, and accepting uncertainty, and paradoxically, that's what we fear most as adults, learning, changing, and uncertainty, also our deepest sense of satisfaction. Think of some time in your life that you are most proud of, and I'm sure upon reflection, you'll find it's where you came across some challenge you had no idea of how to overcome. And through hard work, perseverance, trial and error, informal networking with friends, I mean, you whipped that sucker. You got the yes the kids get when they get to level 6 of the game. Now, do you notice any difference? Can't find where my first overhead went. Do you notice any difference between these words and the words, oh, here we go, these words and these words? Exact opposites. Positive. Essentially, the children see challenge as exciting and positive, and we see it as negative. And so really, I would say the essence, the impressive wisdom out of this is I need to see myself as a child my entire life. Thank you so much.